what's up everybody? This is Nightwing2303 from kicksoncourt.com. Today we have another performance review and it is on the Adidas Rose 7732. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get right into it. Just like the Adidas Crazy Quick, traction is fantastic. No complaints whatsoever. Doesn't matter what type of floor you're on, it's going to cover you. Doesn't matter if you're inside, outside, dirty court, clean court. It's just A1 traction in my book. 10 out of 10 for sure. The only complaint is that it's really thin, and this is not really a complaint. This is more of a warning for consumers. Is this just that this stuff will probably burn out in maybe a week or two of consistent outdoor playing, especially if you play on an outdoor surface that is rough in texture like a blacktop. So other than that, I thought that indoors these things were just perfect. No complaints whatsoever, and again, just like the Adidas Crazy Quick, fantastic traction from heel to forefoot. Again, just like the Crazy Quick, very minimal setup. Cushion is basically, almost non-existent. You can feel a little bit in the back, and this one's just slightly thicker in the forefoot than it is in the Crazy Quick. However, it's still a very minimal setup. So, court feel is enhanced, cushion is not. Do you need it? That's up to you. Personally, from my perspective, as long as you work up or build yourself up to this type of setup, you could basically run around and play barefoot. Are you going to be able to do that right after playing in something that you've been used to, like say the LeBron 10? Of course not. You're going to have to adjust your body and get that used to this minimal setup, but it's not anything bad. It's actually more natural to be in this than it is to have like a 360 air unit underneath your foot. So it's all player preference. It's not a bad thing whether you choose one or the other. However, like I said, cushion is minimal, so that's how it's going to be scored. But at the same time, it's not a bad thing. The materials are okay. I still feel that they're pretty cheap, but for 110 bucks, you can't really complain too much. Again, I don't really know what most of this is. It's just all I know is that it's synthetic, and it lasted to me pretty fine. It's pretty durable. I played in these indoors and outdoors, and it's been perfectly fine for me. No issues, no rips, no tears, all that kind of stuff. Of course, that stuff will happen over time, which is to be expected with any basketball shoe. And it's not going to last as long as something plasticky like Fuse, but it's going to be just as nice, and it doesn't require too much break-in time, which is probably my favorite part about it. The actual fit is fantastic. They are true to size, but they are a little bit narrow. They're not painful because there's no sprint frame in there, and that, in my opinion, is like the best part about this shoe, is that there is no sprint frame. I'll get more into that later, but it basically makes it for like a really comfortable fit, especially after they've been broken in. In terms of lockdown from heel to forefoot, it's absolutely perfect. No complaints. You don't even need a sprint frame in there for lockdown. Sprint frame is more of a structural thing, and it's also for support. So this guy here, it wasn't required, it wasn't necessary, and you didn't miss it at all. So if you're not a fan of Adidas's latest models because of the sprint frame, you might want to give this guy a try, just because it does not have it in there. Ventilation is decent. You have perforations on the toe as well as on the inner medial panel, and those two areas didn't really allow for too much airflow, but it allowed heat to escape. And then you have this entire lateral side panel, which is all sprint web, and that worked perfectly fine. So definitely more ventilated than most shoes on today's market, or on shelves today I should say, which is to be expected. This is definitely more breathable than anything that Nike's been putting out lately. So if ventilation is an important factor to you, then this might be something that you want to consider. As far as support is concerned, that's where the sprint frame comes in, and its lack of sprint frame, or lack of the sprint frame. Now, the sprint frame hugs your foot from heel up to the midfoot here, and it allows for mobility and flexibility when you turn inward, and it decreases mobility and flexibility when you move outward. That's basically going to help prevent you with prevent an ankle injury. Now, this here does not have that, but it didn't matter. It didn't make a difference. The entire upper kept your foot into the shoe here, into the base of the shoe and the footbed, so it was pretty much perfect in terms of support. Basically the same thing that a sprint frame does, but without it even being there. In my opinion, I don't think that Adidas needs to carry that sprint frame over it to every single model. I think it would be a lot nicer if we had more options such as this that were sprint frame-less, and this one just has basically a typical heel setup, which is perfectly fine. It's worked all through basically time, and it still works now, so there's really no reason to keep implementing sprint frames into every single model. It kind of like they beat you over the head with it. So this, in my opinion, was great having it not on there. The torsional support isn't there because the sprint frame is there, but it's right here in this little section, which is basically going to be its shank. So it adds a little bit of torsional support, but not much. It's still got a really flexible outsole because of this pure motion, but it's not going to flex in that one section, which is nice. So I didn't have any issues with this, with the arch in my personal experience. However, if you do have a low sitting arch, you might want to put, or not a low sitting arch, but like a high arch, you might want to get an insole for these guys here, or an orthotic. And yes, the insole is completely removable, so you can use that without any issues. And again, the sprint frame's not there, so it's not going to cause any kind of fit problems once you do implement your orthotic into this shoe.
Sorry, Eric, I have to fix
See, I can do those, no problem. I can shoot free throws in my sleep. But can I shoot? Can I close 3?
No.
Woo!
Oh!
She said no.
So that pretty much takes care of it. I personally thought that this was a fantastic shoe, especially at $110. The upper is pretty cheap, something that I did not like. However, at $110, what can you do? You can't complain too much. You know, there's no sprint frame on there, so I think that these fit a lot more comfortably. This is definitely for a minimal type of person, so if you are a minimalist runner and you also play basketball, this is something that you're definitely going to love. Or if you just really enjoy court feel and you like to be at your quickest because you have a reduced lag time with the space between your foot and the floor, again, this is going to definitely do you good. The traction is fantastic, and that is pretty much it. I think it's a very well-rounded shoe. Which one would I choose between this and the Crazy Quick? I'd honestly choose these, and basically it's because of price. I do feel like the Tech Fit upper on the Crazy Quick is a lot cooler than this, and I like it a lot better. However, this does not have a sprint frame, and it's a heck of a lot cheaper, so this was a little bit more comfortable in my opinion. So that pretty much takes care of everything. Once again, you can go to my site, kicksoncourt.com, for all of your performance needs, and thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all your support. So until next time, guys, have a good one.